Well, it says we got two people here. So I guess I can start. So we got Flatzoid, fucking idiot. Did you see what he's doing now? Did you see what Flatzoid's doing? He's uh, uh, saying that yeah, AD means after death because it means from when he was born to after he died to present. See, he wants to be right, but he just can't admit he's wrong. That's sad. It's pretty fucking sad. Anyway, oh, what the fuck? Come on, man. So that's the headphones. Why do we have no goddamn?
Let's see what the people say in chat. Oh, we live.
Oh, it was his fucking problem. Jesus fucking Christ. So he's muted. Fucking retard.
Oh my. Hello, everyone.
Hey guys, I have no idea what just happened. It just froze on me. But anyway, good to see everybody. Are we live?
Yeah,
I think so. Anyway, we
It
are
says
joined by
live.
Luca, Ryan, and Eric. It's good
Hello,
to see you
Hi, yes.
guys. Glad you could make it. Yeah, there isn't really a topic for tonight. I just put that up there. I forgive you haters because I do, and that's practically it. So we're just gonna chill tonight and just talk for about maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, he forgives you. He forgives us for him being a piece of shit. That's what he forgives us for. Oh, and calling him out on his lies and his deception and his bullshit.
So yeah. So Luca, you were saying about Final Destination last night?
Yes, it was a good watch.
Think it's worth it?
Um, yeah, the deaths are pretty brutal, so yeah, I'd recommend it. Good deaths in this
Well,
one.
that's always brutal there.
Fair enough. Yeah,
What would be
I
your
can't
favorite
argue
death?
with that one. Probably, I don't want to give too much away, but I will say the name of the guy, I guess. Eric. Eric, yeah. Eric has probably the best death. Or,
And how did Eric
there
die?
were two deaths. There were two deaths that really stuck to me. One was a lawnmower to the face. Bad time when that happened. Very, very gory, that one. Bad time for him. And another one was basically being merged with a wheelchair.
It sounds a bit
Bad
hectic,
times.
man.
Bad times. Bad times. But yeah,
So
those are the two deaths that really stuck out to me.
yeah. So let's see what the people say in chat. Good to see you guys, by the way. Candidate, thank you for coming. Derek Nelson, Lindsay Ball, Mr. Jingles, Debatable D, Chilster Deluxe, what's up? Glad you guys can make it. Lindsay Ball says, you're using Rothschild Zionist theme park and their bullshit Scalagerian history and Catholic propaganda to tie and disprove Jesus' words. Be careful. What? So, first of all, I don't use any Zionist anything. What's the Zionist theme park anyway? What is Scalagerian history and Catholic propaganda? Nope, definitely don't use that either. And try to disprove Jesus' words. Why would I disprove Jesus' words? I hang on Jesus' words. I use Jesus' words. I don't try to disprove them. So that's quite a sad comment to make.
It means you're a pathetic little shit who accepts everything you read, except for anything scientific, without question. And that's a pretty fucking sad position to be in. I swear, if the Bible said that Flatzoid's a girl, he'd be out buying tampons right now.
And I actually can't see Lindsay's comment. I'm wondering maybe I'm blocked. If I've offended you, Lindsay, I apologize.
How dare you offend Lindsay?
Yeah, well, it happens rather often. I kind of have a knack for that.
Do you watch anime?
I watched your latest video, Derek. The comments were off, though. 100% agree with you.
Oh, right, because I said it was made for kids, and it shuts off the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have it made for kids so you can gaslight them, indoctrinate them into your cult. Gotta have that.
What do you guys want to talk about?
Good question.
Deconstructing. I'm just working up my new thumbnail for my next video.
Well, I've been thinking lately, about like the whole Satan short season or like pre-trib rapture, and like just my experiences as well, just trying to tie things together. And it's like, to me, like a veil is kind of being lifted in a way where things are
Hey, Mauricio.
getting clearer.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same rate, it's like I'm kind of on edge, like not in a bad way, but it's like God's kind of putting a fire under my tush. Like it's a good thing, but yeah I got to be careful with what I say.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you're playing Sudoku, Luca?
I'm doing good.
I am.
Yeah, guys, hit the thumbs up, share the show. Really does help the show to grow, guys. Tonight is just chill, as I said. So come in and chat about anything you really want to, guys. Yeah, Satan's Sword season seems to have been triggering a lot of people. I don't know if you guys have realized that, but it does bring the worst out of people for some odd reason. Apparently, people are going around saying I'm Mossad. I'm an undercover Mossad agent. I'm a
You're not smart enough to be Mossad, dipshit.
Zionist Jew acting as a Christian to deceive people. So,
yeah, I can agree with that.
wow, okay. I don't know where they
Wow,
get
you're
that.
special, huh?
And they're yeah.
What, pretending to be a Christian? Well, you meet none of the standards of of being a Christian. You exhibit no traits of being a Christian. You lie constantly. You slander people. You give an audience to racists and anti-Semites. Yeah, you're a fake fucking Christian.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because I can read some Jewish words, and because I'm a
Well,
prayer
that's
shawl.
kind of shocking.
Yeah. Oh, and apparently I have a Jewish nose. That's why. It's like
That's silly.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
what can I say?
And yeah, at times if like people mock you or anything, try to look at it as like endearing, maybe. Kind of like when little kids, get a little mouthy or whatever. You kind of know that they'll get corrected sooner or later.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
No, they'll have to get corrected. It's just weird where this is coming from, though.
And I'm thankful for correction. Absolutely.
I mean, they're just so proud of being fucking ignorant, aren't they? It's sad.
I think that stands out a bit better. Okay. Current page. So have you watched my latest video?
I'm not sure. I may have to look.
It's the one I released today.
Oh, the one where you did a premiere?
The timeline.
Let's see what that video is.
Like what?
Nah, fuck it. Hey, Extra J. Yeah, he forgives us for him being a piece of shit. Hey, Tusk.
That works perfect. Okay. Hey, good to see you, Eugene. The true few. Good to see you too. Sandra, what's up? Super Dave, yeah, we can see your chat. How's it going? Glad you can make it. Who's it paired to, though?
Hi, Super Dave.
It's showing paired channels. Huh? Oh, is it yours, Ryan? Because this doesn't show above by me.
Is what?
Ah, there you go, Ryan.
Oh,
Ryan
Super
is.
Dave.
Hey, real,
Super
good to
David.
see you. And back to yeah, he's in your chat. Miles, what's up? It brings out the true fruits of futurists. Miles, the link is there if you want to come in, because Miles is definitely a Satan sword seasoner and missed our live last time to have a discussion. So Miles, you can come in and have a discussion. More than happy to discuss it with you. The only thing is I'm going to have to warn you to bring more than the last guy who says Jesus is in the North Pole.
It's where all you dumb motherfuckers say he is. His throne is in the center of the earth, far above the ground, and right above where all those rivers converge, and that's that got the fucking tree of life, right?
Because the sad thing is he couldn't bring up anything to show why Jesus was in the North Pole. Just trust me.
Well, last I
Hey, Minty
knew.
Virgin, what's up? Sorry?
Oh, that's okay. It's your show. I was gonna say, well, last I knew, Jesus is still above us all.
Yeah, he's in heaven. And this is
Yep.
some of the problems that they do face believing, because when Jesus does come, the heaven will pass away. It will be dissolved. So that means
Oh,
nobody
we'll
can
know.
go to heaven because there won't be a heaven to go to.
Hmm.
There will be immortal people walking around right now. There isn't immortal people walking around.
How do you know? How does he know? He doesn't know. Hey, Artis, how you doing?
Yeah, it will be unmistakable for everyone.
Yeah, it should show at least
So he's met everybody, and he knows that nobody is immortal.
a bit in history somewhere where that happens.
And
So
yeah,
Miles says he's going to try
it's
get
gonna
his
be
laptop
scary.
up and going.
Didn't mean to
Debatable D, we
interrupt.
can
Sorry.
talk to you and stuff if you come in and do something else. But what you going to start? No, go ahead.
Well, I was thinking of like when
You
Jesus
don't hear the
does
voice of
return.
God, Keith. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but
When
like
Jesus
even people
returns.
who believe in him, it's gonna be scary. Like even if you look forward to his return, it's still gonna be. Oh yeah.
Yep. Kyle.
Hmm.
Yes.
Santa's scarier than Jesus.
This is the thing. When somebody says Jesus in the North Pole, they don't understand that they're actually referencing Satan or Santa Claus.
Mm.
Uh,
So Santa Claus is Satan now? Is that what you're saying? Santa Claus, which is a a parody or an analogy to Saint Nicholas, a true saint in the Catholic Church? You're gonna say that's Satan? Okay.
and this is what I asked the guy last night. So, because he believes
See, because words sound alike and they have the same letters in them, doesn't mean they're the same thing, dipshit. These fucking morons.
Antichrist and
Holy
Beast are
shit.
ready
Hey, Al. Hey, Al. Hey, your pal Al.
thrown into the lake of fire,
Lake of Fire? Where? Where's this Lake of Fire?
therefore, when the Antichrist does come and declare himself as God, they'll believe he is God because they won't. How can I say it? They'll be bamboozled to think he's not the Antichrist because they believe he's not the Antichrist. You understand? So they have a very big chance of accepting the Antichrist as God because they believe the Antichrist is already in the lake of fire. I still want to know if any Satan Sword season can
What a complete dumb fuck. My God, he's gullible.
tell me why they're trying to make
Yeah, he's scared of everything, man. He's fucking petrified.
Jesus up powered to hide away in the North Pole.
If he ever accepted the fact that the Earth isn't flat, they'd have to put him on fucking suicide watch. He wouldn't be able to handle it. Why is he bringing up Witsit? Did he? I don't think he did. Did he? I don't know.
My God is not a
Yeah,
coward. He doesn't need to
right.
hide in the North Pole.
Your God's a liar. He lied to Adam and Eve, told them they'd die if they ate something, and they didn't. But Satan told them the truth.
So I do actually take offense in that they claim that Jesus is hiding in the North Pole because they are limiting God and they're calling him a coward. they're saying Satan is stronger than Jesus. And Satan's delusion is so strong that everything Jesus did in the millennial reign is just vanished. So yeah.
If we were to simplify it, it's like Jesus already won. Like he already overcame the world. He overcame sin and death. Like the devil's got nothing on him. Nothing. And if it were like a let's
Where
say
the people
in elementary school, if it were like in elementary school, like you know how sometimes like a person who loses a fight and kind of lies about what happened after, that's pretty much, you know, what's going down or what has gone down. Like Jesus already won the fight, and then the devil doesn't like it. And sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
no stress. I'd actually broke up on my side. I thought you stopped talking.
I wonder what's his demean thoughts on the term VC. He doesn't know. He doesn't fucking know what shit means.
I just
But
got quiet.
Probably fucking
No
lie
stress,
about
man.
it.
Leaf cat. What is north on a FE on a flat Earth? North is just north.
North is just north. Fucking brilliant.
There we go. Hey Miles, how's it going?
North is just north. God damn, his kids must be the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. Dumber than him. Sad, man. Daddy, which way is north? North is north. Shut the fuck up, kid.
Can you hear us?
Fucking sad, man.
I hear you. I don't know what's wrong with them.
No, Miles. He just came in. I don't know if his mic is struggling.
Well, hi, Miles.
And welcome, Miles. Yeah, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Yeah, type in chat if you're trying to talk though. In the private chat, there we go. Not letting me unmute or show video. There's a on the bottom right, you'll see this is settings. It's like a little cog. You click on that, and then you can go to audio and video and change your settings there. It should work like that. Let's see if I can tie a screen. Let me show you. You guys can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we see
So
it.
you go, yeah, Miles. You can go to that, and then you can change your audio settings and your video settings like that. Ooh, trippy. So the votes are 37 votes at the moment. Haters are gonna hate no matter what. Yes, 53%. No, 47%. The poll is anyway redundant, guys. It doesn't really matter what you're going to vote. It's all just subjective.
Then why have the fucking poll, moron?
No, Cora. God doesn't whisper secrets to me. God speaks to people in many ways. Some people are just how can I say it? They don't know when God's talking. Hey, Miles, is it working now?
And I've only heard from God twice myself. Like the first time when he reasoned with me to do a prayer to receive Jesus. And then the next time was some years later where, I had to get really serious, in prayer. And it took days. And then even when he answered me, I didn't like the answer.
But that's the
I
thing.
love it now because it's one of
With
them
my
answers.
experience,
Go ahead.
how I usually know it is God is because it's not what I want.
Uh-huh.
It's usually something that challenges me.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, his answer for me was perfect, but it took me quite some time to absorb it or digest it, so to speak.
Was it quite the sight?
Hmm. Because God definitely usually challenges me. it's 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 an interesting thing. Hey Matt,
Mhm.
what's up?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Matt.
Good, good.
What's up, Matt?
Good to see you guys.
So Matt, what's up? What's news?
Oh, nothing much. Just got back from camping for the weekend.
Nice.
Where'd you go camping at?
Oh, I actually just went camping across the street from the house. Well, across the
Oh,
street
that's
from
not
our
cool.
neighborhood anyway. But there's a
Are you living
campground
in
down
a
there
rural
right
area?
on the lake, and we went fishing and whatnot. Me and my brother and
Camping?
sister and our different families.
That sounds like fun.
Oh yeah, man, it was a great weekend. I actually got up at 6:30 this morning and was catching fish that early.
Hi, Kendra.
Nice, nice.
Yep, blessed day.
Oh, good.
Hey, Jim Smith.
And yeah, you don't need to go far sometimes to go camping.
No, no.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing was, even though it was like right
Hi.
across the street from our neighborhood, like it felt like we were in a
Did the video finish rendering now? I'll be so happy. I've been
completely different
trying all
place.
day to
You
get
know,
this video.
Hmm.
it was nice.
I don't know. When I was a child, we used to love camping. Sometimes we would just camp in the backyard,
Yeah,
just for the fun of it.
I'm not even sure the last time I went camping now that I think about it. Huh.
Hmm.
I dare say it's been a long time.
man, get out there.
I know, right?
It's
Yeah.
refreshing. It really is refreshing. It was funny because I actually took my iPad, my phone, and stuff with me. I ended up just
Hmm.
leaving all that stuff in the truck and just sitting there by the water. And I'm telling you, even like half the time, I didn't even have like my rod in the water. I was sitting there holding my fishing rod, and I was sitting there relaxing. It just felt nice.
Right on.
So yeah, I would encourage anyone who hasn't been camping in a while, or anyone who hasn't been in the woods for a while, just take a walk, get out there, and just sit down and relax, and
Yes, you are correct, Al. You are absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
just feel the nature.
I agree.
That that and stop fucking speaking for me. Stop pretending you
It's
worship me.
good to just relax and do nothing. Also change a bit of scenery sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, videos.
You can tell a man who boozes by the company he chooses, and God got up and slowly walked away.
There we go. Eventually. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. So I think Miles is having issues. I don't know if he's going to be able to come in and chat. That sucks. Would have been nice to talk to Miles. Anybody else in chat? Lindsay Ball, if you're in. Or who else was there that I saw?
Oh, I was watching the anybody watching the news about the South African refugees that were admitted into the United States. I think I saw Flatzoid's wife. I think I saw his wife in that crowd. Matter of fact, I'm sure I saw his wife.
The true few, you can also come in. Well, I guess everybody can come in. The link is there for you guys. Alan Antonio, what's up?
Hi, Alan.
Miles is in again. Hi, Miles. Is it working now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I
can
heard
heard
something.
something now, but it was very soft though.
So right now, I'm reprinting. Make that bigger. I'm reprinting a couple parts for the knitting machine. Have to. They just didn't come out right the first time, so I'm reprinting them. And after that, I will be reprinting this, or be printing this. This is going to take almost 8 hours, but it's the frame, the base that the knitting machine gets attached to. So anyway, ought to be a pretty cool thing. Ought to be a pretty neat machine.
Try speaking again.
Yeah.
How's that? Is that better?
Oh,
my-
there we go. There we go.
Yeah, I'm trying to start a YouTube channel, and I don't even know how to use. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Loud and
It's got a
clear,
bit of
or
got a bit of static, but at least we can hear you. So
better than nothing?
better than nothing. Exactly. How's it going?
Perfect. I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good. Good. Thanks. Glad you can make it.
Oh. I got a weird echo on my side.
Yes, I say it's like a static sound.
The only problem is, I'm afraid it might. There's a possibility it'll warp. So I don't. Kind of sucks when that happens.
If I had to guess, I would say it's something in your background, maybe. But I'm not sure.
No, Vincent. He was going to talk that loud. If you mess it up, you will. It's not the case.
I have the echo cancellation off.
That something you did now was fine, and then it went on again.
Well, it only started when this guy came on.
Ow. What's that
God
noise?
damn. Holy shit.
They were trying to figure out
Fuck me.
something on his like a sharp.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Ear
it's like
piercing.
rusty fan. I don't know.
It's an ear piercing noise. I'll turn down my volume. There.
That's
This is a reminder.
is he muted?
Change my cat's litter box.
There, it's off. That buzzing sound is gone now.
Reminder. Change my cat's litter box.
Oh, that's back. I think it's your microphone, man. I don't know. Maybe plug it in, out and in again. Hey, Vicky, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Glad you could make it.
Hello, Vicky. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
Oh, yeah. Very bad. Not even worse.
Fuck.
It sounds like it's
I think
whistling.
I think he has the YouTube playing in the background.
Yeah, but yeah, he's got the YouTube playing, but what bothers is the that little screech there in the back.
Fucking horrible.
YouTube Studio. Content.
Well, Mauricio, I'm not going to be the one to teach them. Unfortunately, I know about as much as they do about streaming. It's kind of sad to say, but internet stuff is not my forte.
Yeah. So what you guys been doing so far today?
I have been getting used to, like, I got this sheet called, it says 99 coping skills. I got this years ago from when I went to treatment for alcohol.
Number one coping skills, just keep repeating yourself. Earth is flat.
And like many other people, where it's like, they give you a bunch of, like helpful household hints to help, keep or maintain a good lifestyle. And I haven't even so much.
Oh, by the way, still not smoking cigarettes. Still haven't even had a butt. See, before I started vaping again, I'd quit cigarettes, but I didn't quit smoking cigarettes or smoking tobacco. I quit like buying cigarettes, asking, bumming complete cigarettes from people. And my neighbor smoked, so I'd like scavenge butts out of his ashtray. I mean, he'd leave them this fucking long. He'd only smoke half of it and throw them away. So I'd go grab a couple a day. I don't even do that anymore. I'm completely off nicotine or off tobacco. So, yay me.
Much as looked at this thing really, but I did this morning, and because I was just looking for things to just kind of do something useful, maybe.
Hey, I'll admit my limitations.
Take up some time, and one of the options on here was clean up trash at your local park. And I live on a park, like right next to it, and I'm like, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I didn't really need to clean up anything in the park, the city basically took care of that. I know there was an area down the road where, there's always garbage there, and I just took a garbage bag there, and I just had fun cleaning up.
Like, it's like a little pool.
Fucking rude.
And I was moving a lot, and then when I was sleeping, I fell through that little hole. And I have my
Test.
headphones on, like, keep
Is
on
it working better?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it sounds much better, but you can still hear a little in the background, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So how's it going, Miles?
I'm good, brother. How are you guys?
Good, thanks, man.
Good.
Well, I'd like to apologize for all the other little seasons that may have come out. I know a lot of times people do get very anxious about this topic because to us it does feel like a lot of people are calling Jesus a liar because we take what he says literal,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well,
You
I
guys-
have to say the last guy last night, he was at least cordial. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I missed that. I wish I was watching it, but I took my kids out to SeaWorld. So it was my other son's birthday the weekend before, so we went out to SeaWorld this weekend and I missed it.
Okay.
But
So you say
Look out of your fucking window, man. SeaWorld. You see world.
you want to discuss some of it?
yeah, I mean, do you have any idea where
Hey, Pentalica.
you'd like to start, or like
Oh, thank you.
why at least personally, why I believe what I believe?
I think the best is explain to us what certain sortism is to you, because I've realized talking to different people that you guys have similar ideas, but you do differ in some of the beliefs. So maybe it will be easier if we understand specifically where you're coming from.
Yeah. Not everybody has. We're not all 100% on everything. I think the main thing that we agree on is Jesus said certain things to these people in Scripture, and we believe that those things happened and that He did return in their generation. And then it goes from there. There's different sects, I guess. I'm not really big on social media. Like, I have YouTube and Telegram, and that's it. So I guess there's other people on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Facebook and Instagram, and I don't know what anybody else believes personally, so I can't speak for anybody but myself. But I personally believe that, yeah, based on what he said in Matthew to the disciples, based on what he said to Caiaphas, what he said in John to Nathaniel, what was written in Revelation to the seven churches of Asia, and what was written in Luke, well, all the Gospels, to the women crying for him, that it was pretty clear that he was saying, I'm going to be returning to you people here. So
Yeah.
the first one
Okay.
would be, we can start with Matthew 16, 27, 28, which was what everybody starts with. So we can get that knocked out of the way. And, this is
Matthew
one of the golden
16.
verses for preterists too. Yeah, 16 verses 17 and 28, because a lot of even preterists, and I think one of the faults of a lot of little season eschatology followers is that they just take verse 28 and say, well, see, this is what he said. But the context of what he's saying is 27 and 28. He's saying both of these things at one point, right? And that's why,
Yeah.
and the excuse, the explanation for futurism, which I don't think a lot of people realize, but everybody that believes in little season eschatology was a futurist at one point. So we've heard all of this is what that means, right? And this is the transfiguration is the explanation, right? Because they
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
read the context of the Bible. Okay, but read the context of the situation
Nanny
if you were in the disciples'
Cucurolo.
feet, right? 8 days later, that happens. So you have to take what Jesus says in 16, 27,
Kind of
28.
young, kind
For
of
the Son of Man
wow.
shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Verily I say unto you, there shall be some standing here which shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
Mhm.
So that's the context, right? Because that's one conversation that Jesus is having with his disciples, and that
Yes.
happens. And if you're in
Uh,
their shoes 8 days later, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I just want to say, I don't know if you've heard this, but do you understand the difference between when it says coming in his kingdom and coming down on the clouds?
The difference, well, the coming on the clouds has been, if you go in the Old Testament, it's often referred to as judgment, right? In the Old Testament, it would say that God is coming in the clouds. It was a sign of judgment.
Yeah, I made a video about this, but question is, see, Flatsoid said the Earth can't be a sphere because the Bible says Jesus will come down from the clouds and everybody will see him. But that would mean that everyone would be able to see the sun too, all the time, and it would never be dark out. So which way do you want it, man?
If you read Revelations, that's what happens when he returns. Is he judges the world? He gathers his elects, and then he judges the rest of the world. That's
Mm-hmm.
the fervent heat. The coming in his kingdom, that's an area of debate for a lot of people, even in little season eschatology, because Jesus says the kingdom's now. If I cast out demons, you've seen that the kingdom is here, right? So there's two aspects of the kingdom, which is the physical kingdom and the spiritual kingdom, because it's all intertwined. It's all connected. So it's how I see all of the verses about him coming is I tie them all together, right? So for Matthew 16:28, you will say that's the transfiguration. When Jesus is talking to Caiaphas and tells him, you're going to see me coming in the clouds of heaven, they'll say, well, that's judgment. And Caiaphas saw that when the temple was destroyed in 70 AD. But then when you have John 1:51 and he's telling Nathaniel, you're going to see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. Like, well, that's what he said in Matthew. For the Son of Man will come in the glory of his Father with his angels. Right. So it's like those verses are saying almost exactly the same thing.
I just got to point out, you do know Matthew was written after the destruction of Jerusalem.
That's what a lot of people say. But again, I mean, the temple being destroyed is one of the biggest factors of Jewish history, and nobody ever mentions it in the Bible.
But that's what I'm trying to say, because a lot of the time, especially Satan's routines, they want to point back to using the book of Matthew, or a lot of times they don't want to use Mark for some odd reason, but they go to Matthew specifically, and not understanding that when they're trying to use Matthew to say, while he's talking to that generation.
Another project I'm working on just on paper right now is a jacquard loom, a 3D printed jacquard loom. If anybody doesn't know what a jacquard loom is, this is a jacquard loom. It is completely, it's, well, semi-automatic. What it does is, here, jacquard loom. This is, here's a jacquard loom. You've got the loom here, and you've got punch cards. What these punch cards do is each hole in a punch card, you can see it here, yeah, you've got these punch card, these holes. These control the pattern. And each one of these cards is different except when the pattern repeats. And each one of these holes allows a thread, a warp thread to be raised or lowered. And you punch these cards, you string them up on a big chain, and each time you pull or press the pedal, throw the shuttle, it cycles to the next card. My idea is to have a loom that's just wide enough to weave guitar straps, custom-made guitar straps with imagery, pictures, names, words, text, flowers, whatever. I think it'd be a neat project.
Matthew was written after the destruction of Jerusalem, so he would have known already that the temple was destroyed. So when he puts in Matthew 24, and he talks about the desolation of abomination standing in the holy place, he understands that there has to be another temple built for that to happen.
Well, there's not any biblical prophecy of a third temple.
It is Matthew 24.
No, that's talking about
and
Matthew.
2 Thessalonians and Mark 13 and Revelation.
If we pull up Matthew 24:1 or Mark, I think it's Mark 13 or Luke 20.
See, Fkatzoid knows what he's talking about because he knows how to read Hebrew words.
Yes.
It all says when the disciples came out of the temple, they looked and they pointed at it and told Jesus, look how wonderful this building is. They were literally in the temple coming out of it when it happened. When Jesus is talking about this temple is not going to be standing, not one stone will be left on top of another. It literally says they're coming out of that temple.
That's also one thing I want to point out. Do you know that the temple today still has the Western Wall?
I don't believe that's the temple because Jesus said that it won't. And if, let's say, Mark or Matthew was written after this generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled. A biblical generation is 40 years, and it makes sense that there's other prophecies in the scripture that proved that this was fulfilled before those 40 years were expired, including the temple being destroyed.
But like I'm
It's
saying,
less
this.
than 40 years.
Okay. So then when we look, but what happens next is the thing that's bad for you guys. For nation shall raise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. This is what's happening right now.
Yeah, you want to do the Acts 16:26? It says, and suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were open and everyone's bands were loosed. So we got earthquakes right there.
Yeah, and
So God is just basically Trump. He just releases everybody from prison.
So
that's
there's
not
an earthquake.
that doesn't fit with what's saying. Yeah,
It says
in
there'll be
diverse
earthquakes.
places.
No, how?
Well, diverse means multiple, so there's one.
It means it's in places that aren't really susceptible to have. I mean, right now we've been having weird things even in South Africa. We've been having tornadoes and earthquakes, which is really uncommon here. There's
Well, yeah,
been
geoengineering.
That's fine. Geoengineering can cause that too, but that keeps with Bible prophecy being fulfilled.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think man-made weather manipulation is the prophetic fulfillment of Scripture. Acts 11:28, we have a famine. It says, and there stood one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be a great dearth throughout all the world.
A great dearth. He's not great.
There's your famine. Prophet.
Okay. So anyway, then this what it was talking about world war. Nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against nation. Kingdom against
Yo,
kingdom.
you die first.
But like again, I gave you the Bible doesn't have that, right? So yes, if you want to look at history, the Bible does have that.
Yeah, it's saying, for nation shall rise against nation.
No, I'm saying it doesn't have the fulfillment.
Kingdom.
It doesn't have the fulfillment.
This was fulfilled now
The
in the
prophecy-
World War One.
I'm saying the fulfillment is not written in the Bible.
It is. World
No.
War One was fulfilling this prophecy.
But World War One is not written about in the Bible. Like I just gave you two verses
Well,
that fulfill famines and pestilence, or famines, pestilence,
There has
and
always
earthquakes.
been famines throughout history, no matter where. There has always been earthquakes. The issue here is it's saying in diverse places. That means it's in places that are not meant usually suitable to have them. So it goes in places.
No. Diverse just means different. Just multiple. Do you even bother looking up words, dipshit? Diverse. Definition. Showing a great deal of variety. Very different. Including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnical backgrounds and of different genders, sexual orientations, etc. You're not smart enough to understand what the word fucking diverse means. And you think you're some goddamn biblical scholar? Shut the fuck up.
Places that don't usually have them.
Jesus
There's always
fucking
been
Christ.
famines in the Asian area where they usually were.
Yeah, very, very true, RT. If the Bible's literal truth, why do we need people to interpret it? Should be fucking evident.
There's even South Africa, we usually have famines. It's a usual occurrence. It's not rare. The diverse places is to talk about places that are rare for these things to happen.
I mean,
No, diverse doesn't mean rare, dummy. Holy fuck.
is it rare for earthquakes to happen in Israel? What's modern day Israel?
Well, they
God,
don't really
what a
get that much
dumbass.
earthquakes, do they?
Well, then I guess that would be a diverse place that the Bible says there was an earthquake, huh?
And these earthquakes are all around right now. There's a lot more earthquakes happening more constantly all around the world as well. And like I said, the point which I was making here, for nations to rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, that hasn't happened when the temple was destroyed. It was just literally the Romans attacking Jerusalem. There was no nation against nation. There was no kingdom against kingdom. This was prophesied for what's happening now, and World War One literally took that and how can I say it fulfilled that prophecy.
Right, in a generation 2,000 years later, not this
Yes.
generation.
This generation we are in now.
Yeah. So what's the generation? Because
Our
for
generation. From the
your
starting of from
you
the,
weren't alive.
the
You weren't alive
generation,
during World War One. That's not your generation. That generation's gone. They're
we're
dead.
alive right now. The beginning of sorrow started in World War One. Okay.
Right. So how long is the generation?
Bible doesn't say.
Oh, started World War One. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yes, it does. The Israelites wandered for a generation.
You thinking Nate? You think war only started in World War One? Are you fucking high? What a dumb motherfucker.
In the desert. It was 40 years. I think David was
No,
president.
that
David was
was-
king for 40 years. I think Saul was king for 40
Yeah, but
years.
in Matthew, it doesn't say the generation is only 40 years. It just says for
No,
this
the other
generation.
parts of the Bible. The
It
other
just
parts
says
of the
for this
Bible.
generation. It just is for this generation reading to have understanding. So we are the generation reading now. The generation spoken of is the ones that's going to be in tribulation for judgment.
Yeah, but we're not the first generation to read the Bible.
We are the generation that's going to be in tribulation reading for the judgment.
Says what?
It says what we're reading now in Matthew 24.
Yeah. So
Look,
I would
let's
personally
go on.
believe that Matthew was written when it happened, right? And then that's what they mean by your gospel. Or
Well, if
by
Matthew was
those
written
reading
when it
it.
happened, it was after the destruction of the temple.
No.
Yes. Matthew was
because
written after the destruction.
Again, if it was, then it would have been written about in the Bible.
When Jesus said this to them, it was before the destruction. When
Yeah,
this
so
was
if
written,
it
it
was
was
written-
after the destruction of the temple. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Yes, I'm saying I don't believe it was written after the destruction because it's not told about by anybody. Nobody mentions the temple is destroyed. Like one of our greatest things in history, in Jewish history, nobody wrote about it. Like that doesn't make any sense. It's been written about the other time it happened, and there's no prophecy for a third temple when the second temple hadn't even been destroyed.
The third temple
They didn't
was
even know. They didn't even know the second temple was going to be destroyed until Jesus told them.
Jesus, like I said, let's go on. You'll see. Okay. So then it says, they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations
Yeah.
for my name's sake.
So Acts 12:2 is James being killed. Acts
Not by all
7:59 through 60 is Stephen being killed.
Or by all nations.
Acts 8:1. Well, I mean, they're going throughout the world and being persecuted.
Nope.
They have Trump banned diversity. We're not gonna. He won't have a cabinet left.
Not
Yeah.
by all nations. Not all nations even had the gospel of Jesus yet.
Well, I got a few verses that prove that wrong.
Okay. Can you bring it up?
Yeah, sure. Romans 1:8.
Because even today, there's some nations that don't get the word of God yet.
Yeah. Well,
That's
Romans
today,
1:8.
2000 years later.
Yep. Romans 1:8.
Try Harry Potter. I think book 3 is pretty informative.
I personally love this one because it's almost indisputable. Like if you can't say it, the Bible hasn't been spread when it tells you in like 5 different places that it has.
So
1:8.
they are in the
1:8. 1:8. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, that was my fault. Oh. First, I thank my God through Jesus Christ for all you that are faith in spoken of throughout the whole world.
Yeah, that's your
Yeah.
faith. The faith is the gospel.
Yeah, but that's not all nations have heard of him.
To the whole world. That's what it says. Your faith, which faith is
No, the
pistis.
context of it.
The word of pistis means your conviction, your truth, the truthfulness of God. The reliance upon Christ for salvation. This is from the Strong's Concordance.
How dare he argue with the most devout man on the planet? Fool.
Abstractly, consistency in such profession, by extension, the system of religious truth itself, the gospel, your assurance, your belief, your fidelity. So right there it says it was spread to all nations. Romans 10:18.
Like I was saying, it's not all nations. It hasn't. This is about declaration to the faith
Really? It says all the world. All the world means all the nations, dumb fuck. Jesus fucking Christ, you're dumb.
shown by them, spreading to all the nations. It's
Hey, Earl Cygnus.
not all nations have had the gospel. Even today, not all nations have gospel. Let's for
Romans
instance,
10:18. It says, "Have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world." And if you want to read the context, it's, how shall they preach except they be sent? How shall they hear unless they've
how
heard?
shall they be? Exactly.
Yeah, and it's saying,
Jake, first of all, that
yeah, we can pull up the whole thing. I believe it starts in 13. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. But they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah saith, Lord, who hath believed our report? So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all of the earth, and their words unto the end of the world.
But
So
I
he's
did
saying-
say that not Jesus. For Moses it says, "I will provoke you to jealousy, and then they are not the people, and by foolish nation will I anger you." Isaiah is very bold and saith, "I have found them that sought me not. I was made manifest unto them that asked me after me." But to Israel, he said, "All day long I have stretched forth my hand unto a disobedient and gainsaying people." This is literally about the disobedience of Jerusalem, of the Jews. It wasn't about
the second
all
half, but
nations.
the first part is talking about all the nations here.
That's what I say. You have to read the whole thing in context.
Yeah, but it's not like it literally says in those verses, how can everybody
It-
hear? And then it says they have.
That's the thing. This was specifically about the disobedience of the Israelites.
And then we got Romans 16:25 and 26. Now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Jesus Christ, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the beginning, since the world began, but now is made manifest, and by the scripture of the prophet, according to the commandment of the everlasting God, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. So right there it says it's been made to all nations.
Made known
to all
by
nations.
obedience. Doesn't mean it was directed to all nations. Like I said,
I mean, that's what it says.
There's still tribes. There's still tribes today that don't get God's gospel. Are you claiming
So
that they?
you want to? I have two more verses. You want to keep going?
Let's look at this logically as well. You claiming that
No, the Bible's claiming.
disciples. No, but you misrepresenting what it says, and
No,
you're
I mean,
taking
that's
out
what
of
it says.
context what it says. You're claiming that the disciples that only literally had like 20 to 30 years max to give the gospel before they died for the gospel, was able to traverse the whole earth to get to inhospitable places to give the gospel, when in those days it would take months and months just to go from one country to the other. You understand? Today,
Yep.
It's not even possible really to do with all the technology we got to do today, like flying with planes and taking ships and things. How did they do it in those days?
I mean, that's kind of an argument against you, because if you're saying Jesus is returning, but the gospel hasn't been spread to the whole world, then he can't return.
It hasn't, because it shows
So then
today.
Jesus isn't coming back.
No. Today
But
it's showing.
We have another.
That's-
We have more. We have more that say the same thing. Colossians 1:5-6. For the hope which is laid up for you in heaven, wherefore ye heard before in the word of the truth of the gospel, which has come
And who
unto
was he
you
speaking- who
as
was
it has in
Corinthians
all the world.
And who was the Corinthians spoken to?
It was written to the Corinthians by Paul.
So
So Paul is telling them
not
the
the
same
whole world.
gospel.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, PJ's that they've had to put PJ on suicide watch.
Yeah, the gospel that has come unto you as it has in all the world.
Like
One of the funniest lines, just PJ being distraught, reminded me of one of the funniest lines I've ever seen on a pornographic movie. This girl's just fucking going to town on this 12-inch mule. Just, I mean, tears rolling down her face, fucking mucus everywhere. She looks straight at the camera and says, "Your cock makes me distraught." Best line ever.
I'm saying, the gospel is open to the whole world, but it hasn't been preached to the whole world. Today, there
What?
are still.
Why the fuck hadn't it, man? What kind of weak ass fucking god do you have? What kind of weak fucker do you believe in that can't spread the news of himself to the entire world? Holy shit, man. What a weak fucker.
Today, they are actually only getting to the lost tribes. They're only getting to the lost people to get the gospel. Today, 2,000 years later.
I got one more. This is one of my favorites. If ye continue in the faith grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel, which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature which is under heaven, wherefore I, Paul, made a minister. So here Paul is saying it's been preached to every creature under heaven. So I mean,
That's all nation.
I believe it was preached to every creature under heaven. The firmament.
Yeah, the firmament was preached to every creature because it is
No, not
being
the firmament.
declared.
The heaven. The heaven
Under
as in the
under the
firmament.
firmament, yes.
Yeah. It was preached to every creature.
Paul preached it to every creature.
No, the disciples.
Yeah, people were so fucking stupid back then. They had to be told what the sky is.
And the apostles did. Paul
They
is
couldn't.
proclaiming that it did. Well, I mean, I'm not the one saying it. Paul said, you can, Colossians 1:23, if you want to pull it up and read it for yourself. Paul said it. It was preached to every creature which is under heaven. I mean, trust me, dude. When I first heard this too, I was like, well, what? Because I grew up as a futurist thinking this hasn't been done yet, but there's Bible verses that say it has been done. Like, I was just as like, that doesn't make any sense. And then, I mean,
Well, if you know it's not been done, but there's a book that says it has been done, which do you think's correct? The fact that you know it's not been done, or some book that says it?
the far out explanation for this, which I don't think is too far out, with how the times of the tribulation and everything, all the earthquakes, is that maybe
Colossians?
Pangea? Yeah, Colossians
Colossians,
1:23, and 1:6 was the one before that. The gospel being made known to all the world.
Paul, the apostle of Jesus Christ, by the will of God, and Timothy is your brother, to the saints and faithful brethren in Christ, which are at Colossae, grace to be unto you, and peace from God the Father and Lord Jesus. We give thanks to God our Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, praying always for you, since we heard of your faith in Christ Jesus, and of the love of which you have of all the saints, for the hope of which is laid up for you in heaven, whereof you before in the world of the truth of the gospel, which is come unto you as it is in the world, and bringeth forth fruit.
Don't skip that word. Don't skip it. Read it again. Which is coming to you as it has in all the world.
Yeah, it is
All
in
the
all the
world.
world. It's not. No, it hasn't been spoken to all nations. It's come to you
Are-
as it
are-
is.
All the world means all nations. Are there any nations that aren't in the world?
Are all nations
He just can't fucking admit that he's wrong about anything. I mean, that's a serious fucking mental condition.
not in all the world?
Yeah, it hasn't been preached to them. It comes to them. It's available to them.
And the other verses say it was preached to all the nations. But then you say, well, no, it wasn't all the world.
No. This was specifically to the Colossians.
Yeah, and he's telling them the gospel has been preached to all the world.
Okay, I got another question then.
If you want to keep going, 123, a few more verses.
Why were there many nations, let's say in the medieval times, never heard of Jesus Christ before?
Who says they haven't?
Viking?
The Vikings had never heard of Jesus? Are you sure?
Yes.
Really? Vikings never heard of Jesus? Bullshit. You might want to read your fucking history on the Vikings when they attacked England. How about that, motherfucker? And how Vikings were converted by the Christians. So, what the fuck are you talking about? You're a fucking retard, Flatsoid. You don't know anything.
Because pretty sure they were raiding London and England and all those other places that spread the gospel to them.
Yeah, but that's after long before Colossians.
Our only goal will be the Western Shore.
Okay, well, so so there's two options. You're either saying because of the worldly evidence that you have, the Bible is wrong.
No, the Bible's not wrong. The Bible's
Okay, so-
right. You're just trying to.
No, the Bible's full of fucking bullshit, man. Pi isn't 3. But the Bible says it is. Dumb fucks like you believe it.
Paul was right. The gospel was preached to the whole world. It was preached to every creature.
I agree. It can preach to everybody, but it doesn't mean it was preached to every nation.
I agree, but I'm not wrong. How many nations aren't on the planet? Huh? How many nations are not on the planet, Flatsoid? You fucking pathetic moron.
Doesn't mean
That's
every
literally
nation
what the
got
other
the
verses
word.
said.
It doesn't mean every nation got the word. Can
That's
you
what it
show
says.
me where it's language they're using? It's based on context of how they are preaching.
Based on context? No, it's literal, man. The Bible's literal, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was to the Corinthians. They glorifying the Corinthians based on their faith and them presenting the gospel.
Yeah, and then
doesn't matter. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations.
Romans, we just read,
Okay,
it
let's
says
put
it
it
was
this
made
way.
known to all nations.
Let's put it this way: if you go and you become a preacher and you are preaching to all the world, but you don't physically go to all the world. Do you understand the idiom behind it? You're preaching to all the world.
I mean, I'm just reading what it says, man. I believe what it says. I don't have to make it.
I know what you're reading.
I see. We don't have to make it mean anything else.
I know what you're reading.
You're trying to make it.
No, you're trying to
make it mean something else.
No, no.
Did he mute him?
No, you're trying to read into it based on not taking the.
No, see, you're trying to read into it. It says it right there, dipshit. Right there, all nations.
Context of what is said there. You're just trying to cherry pick a piece and say, well, this is what it means because it says all the world. That's not what the context
well, yeah, there's there's 5 sections that I just gave you that all say the same thing, bud.
So fucking desperate.
It says all nations, Romans 16, 15, 25 through 26. If you want it to say all nations, it says all nations for the obedience of faith.
No.
Yeah. You're wrong, motherfucker. Admit it. Admit you're wrong. You were wrong about AD. You just can't admit anything, man. You're wrong about the concrete chairs.
This is but anyway, let's go back to specifically Matthew 24.
All right.
Okay, when it says, you shall deliver up and afflicted, and they shall kill you, and be hated by all nations for my sake.
Right. Yeah.
When has that happened?
Right. All nations.
Well, like I said, Acts 12:2 is James being killed. So, like, remember, Jesus is talking to his disciples, right? So, for them, they're taking it as Jesus is telling us these signs to watch out for, right? He doesn't say this is for a future generation. He says make sure you are not deceived, right? That's the context of the Bible. The Bible is written to them for us. Jesus is having a conversation with the disciples. They ask him, tell us, the guy standing here with you, Jesus, tell us what the signs are going to be. What do we look out for? And he's telling them, this is what's going to happen to you. You shall be delivered and afflicted. And then
it doesn't say you, yeah. It doesn't. Look,
they shall
they
deliver
shall deliver
you
you up to be
to be
afflicted, yes.
afflicted, and they shall
They shall
kill
kill
you,
you, and
and
ye shall
ye
be hated.
for my
Okay,
name's
yes.
sake. Yeah.
But
So
who?
Acts 12:2 is James, who was a disciple there, who
Again,
was
it's
killed.
not all nations. Again, all nations is very
Well, you're-
specific here.
See, now you're cherry picking just 2 words out of the whole
It's
thing.
not. We're literally going verse by verse, and I'm trying to explain to you what it means with all nations here.
I'm not telling you what it means. That's where you get into your own personal
So
hermeneutics.
did all
The
nations?
serpent in the garden
Wait,
told
wait, wait.
Eve, "This is what God meant. He didn't mean you're going to die. He meant you can
So
be
did
like
all
God." I don't
nations?
try to use the serpent tactic.
Did all nations? Did
They
all
all heard the
nations
gospel.
hate? Did all nations hate the disciples for the gospel?
Well, yeah, because Jesus said they would.
No,
Yeah, well,
not
Jesus
all
says right
nations
here.
hated the gospel.
So Jesus is wrong?
That's a lie.
What, can you prove that with history?
Yes, Paul's
Because
letters to the
didn't
churches
the Vikings kill
in Asia.
Christians?
Paul's letters to the churches in Asia.
Uh huh.
That proves it wrong. The churches in Asia didn't hate them for in the all nations.
Well, yeah, the
So
churches
the
in Asia,
churches
not
in
the rest
Asia.
of Asia.
So not all nations hated them for their
Well,
faith.
so wait, do you think one church in Asia means the whole nation,
No, no, no.
or does it
You
just
are-
mean one church?
I'm showing you evidence that all nations did not hate for a man. So what's going to happen, and this is explaining the tribulation. So what's going to happen because of this, when the Antichrist is going to declare himself as God, obviously, the people can take the mark of the beast. So it's going to be outlawed to be Christian, just like it was then. It was outlawed, obviously. It was hated, but this will be hated by all. Your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, if they don't accept it, they will hate you and have you beheaded too.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said,
Every
Acts
country,
12:2,
every
Acts
nation will
12:2,
hate you.
Acts 12:2 shows that the disciples he was talking to, James,
Weren't
was
hated
killed.
by all nations.
Acts 7:59-60 shows that Stephen was killed. Acts
Yeah, but they weren't
8:1
hated by all nations.
is prosecution of the church. Yeah, you don't have proof of that. You're just saying it because you don't believe
I
it.
do. They didn't get out of Asia.
Then how is the gospel spread to the whole world?
Where did all the disciples travel to?
The whole world, like we just talked about in those 5 verses.
They
Yeah,
didn't travel to all the world.
yeah, Romans 1:8.
They didn't travel to all the world. They
That's
didn't
what it
travel to
says.
all the world. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say they traveled to all the world.
It says the gospel was spread to the whole world.
Right. And it Bible also said it doesn't say the earth is flat either, but you interpret it as that, don't you? So you can't have it all ways, man.
It was available for the world. It wasn't traveled to all the world. They didn't give it to all the world. Now I'm going to ask you a very logical question.
It traveled to the whole world, but it wasn't given to the whole world.
I'm going to ask you
It was
another
preached to
question.
every creature, but it wasn't preached to every nation. It went to all the nations, but it didn't go to the whole world. It went to the whole world, but it didn't go to all the nations.
No, I'm going to ask you another question. If someone only lived for 20 years to give the gospel, how did they travel the whole world in that 20 years?
I personally, this is outside of the biblical.
I don't know. They knew what their lifespan was. Why don't you ask them, motherfucker?
But I gotta believe that whole Pangea idea. So as Satan does, he takes the truth and twists it. I believe since there is evidence that all the nations were connected, what do they say, 100,000 years ago or whatever, Pangea. I believe that all the nations were connected because we have pyramids connected in every country. You have Roman architecture in every country. I mean, South America on top of mountains has Roman architecture buildings. They tell you all roads lead to Rome. I personally believe that Pangea was much more recent, and it was actually spread out when the tribulation and Jesus' return came, and those earthquakes that moved nations that moved mountains and islands that fled away. I believe that.
But the earth is immovable.
That's when all of that happened. But that's speculation,
except when it isn't.
I'm willing to admit. Again, it makes more sense when you see in South America there being Roman buildings with pillars and domes, and then they want you to believe that the Capitol building in Washington D.C. was made by a Christian in honor of the pantheon to the gods of Rome. Like that doesn't make what Christian do you know that would build a building to false gods? That doesn't make sense to me.
Hey, Viz.
But anyway,
It's a wild theory, I know, but you were asking why why I believed it. Again, I don't. There's not much proof of that, but like I do believe that there is proof that's been lied to us. You know, for example, it says that the seas, all life in the seas would die during the tribulation. Well, we have evidence of 66 million years ago, the I don't know how to say exactly, Chicxulub, something like that, asteroid that hit and killed the dinosaurs, and it killed all the life in the ocean and acidified the ocean. So I'm like, okay, well, what's the options? The option is it didn't happen 66 million years ago, and we have evidence of something that they're lying to us about, or it was maybe a revelation type event. Then that's why they're lying, because it would prove the Bible.
okay.
It's a wild
So
one.
then, okay. So, and then there shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. That's busy happening right now.
We got 2 Peter 2, 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
And as there be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their promiscuous ways. So that would be like part of the falling away. These people are falling away from the faith by following these false prophets, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. So these guys are literally turning their backs on all of their brother and calling it evil, or calling evil good now. And through covetousness, yeah, 2 Peter 1, 2, 1.
2. 2 Peter 2, okay. The rise of the false prophets, okay? But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there were false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way the truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness they shall they with fervent words make merchandise for you, whose judgment now have a long time lived not, and their domination slumber not. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them from the chains of darkness, and reserved unto judgment.
Flatzoid, he ain't even old timey.
And spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher righteous, bringing the flood upon the world of ungodly, and turning cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemning them with the overthrow, making them an example unto those that after live ungodly, and deliver just Lot, vexed to the filthy conversion of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing their hearing vexed, is righteous soul from the day to their unlawful deeds. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness, and despise government, presumptuous are they disheveled, they are not afraid to speak evil of dignitaries. Okay? Did you know that this was talking about future context as well? And past. When they're talking about past with the things that happened, like Sodom and Gomorrah and the Noah's flood and things. But yeah, it says, and many shall follow there. So that's future tense.
It's okay. Well, let's read the first one. But there were false prophets, so that's past tense. Many shall follow. You know, it's not future tense. They're saying they shall follow their promiscuous ways.
Again, there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false prophets, teachers amongst you, who privily shall bring damnable histories, and even denying the Lord and brought them. And many shall follow.
Yeah, so he's saying there.
So that's future tense, correct?
No, he's saying there were false prophets.
No.
He's saying.
There's
listen,
always been false prophets. No one's doubting that.
It's yes and no.
But
okay, let me see. So he's saying there were false prophets among the people, and he's saying there's going to be more false prophets among you, and people will follow them. Great. John is writing these, or I'm sorry, Peter is writing these letters to people. This is
No
you're
one
reading
claiming.
somebody else's mail and thinking it's
No,
meant for you. This Peter is writing
no,
this
no
letter
one.
to somebody else.
Yeah, no one's claiming there weren't false prophets in the time. There's always been false prophets, but there's very
So
specific
that
false prophets of today, which is not in those times.
says who? That, well, I mean, you have to say that to believe
Can
what you
you show
believe.
me? Can you show me someone in those days that's claimed to be Christ?
In the Bible, no,
Yeah, you can't because there was never someone. The
because it
thing
wasn't
is,
written about in the Bible. Just because it
Christianity
wasn't written about in the Bible doesn't mean it didn't happen.
is
Are
no
you
outside
are you
source either.
saying the
No,
second temple didn't get destroyed because
no, the
it's
second
not
temple
written in the
got
Bible?
destroyed. King
But it's not
Solomon's
written
temple
about in the
got destroyed.
Bible. You got to keep that same consistency. Just because it
That's a
wasn't
straw
written about
man.
in the Bible doesn't mean it didn't happen.
That's a straw man. No, what I'm saying is there were definitely false prophets, but the false prophet that's talked about in Matthew 24 here is specifically the Antichrist, which declares himself as Christ. There were no people claiming to be Christ in those days.
It says, "And many false prophets shall rise." Not just one,
Yeah,
not just the Antichrist.
yeah, that
It
was in
says
Peter.
many.
That was Peter. We're reading in Matthew now where it's talking about the Antichrist.
Yeah. All right.
You understand? So it's a difference.
Well, again, false prophets aren't the same as Antichrist. False prophets teach.
No, that's what I say. There's
The,
many false prophets, just like it was.
yeah.
And today there's many false prophets. Those days there were many false prophets. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah. So I mean, but then you can't say that it wasn't fulfilled.
Okay. And
I
then
mean,
it says,
I have. Hold on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more verses about false prophets. If you want to go to those,
no, I agree with you. There were false prophets, but there weren't false
we had
prophets
James
as
4:1
false
too about betraying and hating one another.
Mhm.
Right. So I mean,
And
the thing is, when you say yes, there were false prophets, you have to put, if you're in the disciples' shoes, you're gonna think, oh, Jesus told us that this was gonna happen, and it's happening now, so that would be fulfilled in their generation. Like, I don't think they saw that and they were like, nah, that's not for us. That's still 2,000 years in the future. No, like Jesus told us that this was gonna happen, and we're seeing it happen. Right.
well,
That's
when
what
we
in context of it happening.
later on when we do get to the son of perdition, it doesn't fit with what their generation has.
So, I'm saying that again. I'm sorry.
When we get to the son of perdition, it doesn't fit with what what they claim, what their time generation has.
Dude, that was a Tom Hanks movie.
Or
The
the
son of
son of
perdition
perdition
Oh, wait, no, that was Road to Perdition. Sorry. Hey, Westside.
is the
isn't
Antichrist.
it isn't in Jesus's prophecy list. So.
Yes, it is. It's written in Matthew 24, it's written in Mark 13, and it's written in 2
What,
Thessalonians.
which one? Matthew
And it's
24. What?
written in Daniel, and it's in Daniel.
2 Thessalonians? Tell us you're not a Christian without saying the words, moron.
Matthew 24. What?
We're going to
2,
get there
Thess-
now.
2 Thessalonians.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got that. We agree, prophets, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. That is also being seen now as we speak.
Wax on.
Yeah, I mean
Obviously,
that
you
could
can
be.
say people were cold in those days as well, so it falls under both.
Mhm.
But he shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world. That's what's happening right now. For the witness unto all nations,
And happened then.
and then the end shall come. You understand? Today, there is still places that haven't had the gospel yet, names like North Korea.
But the gospel was
Okay.
spread then.
It's still, people in North Korea are not getting the gospel right now. But
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
there are, at this moment, there's people that's actually been smuggling Bibles and things in. So it is in that progressive state of it's getting to all the worlds, all the.
You think that just started? You think that just fucking started, pal? That's been going on for decades. I remember as a kid hearing about it. See, these fucking idiots think that everything they've thought up, everything that they've read about is brand new and nobody's ever experienced or read anything like it. No. What, missionaries in in North Korea? No, that couldn't have ever happened before ever.
So,
nation.
and here's the
So that
difference.
happened
I have
so
Bible verses to say like, it happened then, and you only have your opinion to say it hasn't happened now.
N-
That's the
the thing is,
difference.
what you were taking the Bible verses on was taking you trying to think, okay, because I believe it, I'm reading a cherry picked part and saying it means everybody got the word of God. That's what you're
No,
saying.
I mean you read Romans 10, the whole
It doesn't
context,
say
and
it doesn't say everyone got the message. It
it
doesn't
says
say
their
that.
sound went into all the earth and their words into the end of the world. That's what it says. And then in 16,
Come on, dipshit. Just admit you're wrong, man. Admit you're wrong, Flatsoid. Be a man. Be a fucking man for once in your fucking miserable life.
25 and 26, it says,
Mhm.
according to the revelation of the, or I'm sorry, now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel being, Jesus and the preaching of Jesus Christ, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret until the world began, but now is made manifest, and by the scripture of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting God. That commandment is the one where Jesus said, "Go out to all the nations." That's the
Go out
commandment.
Yes, the Great Commission is what that's called.
to all the nations, yes, and were
Made
they able to go,
known, made
were
known to
they
all
able
nations.
were they able to go out to all the nations?
Yes, because it says made. It says, but now is made manifest and made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. That's the one you read, and you said it wasn't all nations, but it says all
No, the
nations.
gospel wasn't preached to all nations. The
That's
language
what.
there is describing they are going to all nations. They're going to, just like when you have a mandate to go out and preach to all nations, doesn't mean you physically have preached it to all nations. It's still, that mandate is still happening today. That's
Well,
what I'm
then
trying to point out.
Then
That
Paul
mandate's
shouldn't
still
have said.
happening today.
Well, then Paul should not have said that it went out to all the nations, but he did
It's
say it.
still
So
going out to all the nations. That's the
no,
language that I'm trying to explain to you. It's still
no.
going out to all
He
the
said
nations.
he said made known. That's past tense, not make known.
He wrote it in past tense. It was
Yeah,
centuries ago.
because it happened. Yeah, because it happened centuries ago.
It's made known to go and preach the gospel to all the nations. Exactly. So it's made known.
Yeah,
Everybody today is still preaching it to all nations.
it was
It's
made
still
known
the
to
same
all
mandate.
nations for the
It's still the
obedience of
same
faith.
mandate.
Yeah, dipshit, because people die and other people are born. So if I tell everyone in a factory that lunch is going to be served at noon, and then I wait 30 years and nobody else has said that, you think that maybe that some of those people might not have fucking heard it? You fucking idiot.
It's still the same mandate of the
Look,
church.
and this is where I can even.
But mandates are bad, right? Mandates are bad, right?
This is
Let
where
me
I
put it
can
this way.
even
Let
agree
me
that
put
the
it this way.
Bible
If you
now
have
has
a
not been spread,
wait,
but then it
let me put it.
was,
I'm trying to
which
explain to
fulfills
you.
it.
I'm trying to explain to you how you're reading this into not what the context of what it is. Just like if you have a church building, for instance, and you have a pastor or a priest or whatever, they are preaching to all the nations from their pulpits, okay?
No, they're not. They're preaching to their congregation, stupid. Jesus fucking Christ. You don't even know what all means.
Do you understand that? All the world,
No.
and yeah, they were. That's what they're doing. Their mandate is to preach to all the nations.
Yeah, but they're
They're
only
not
preaching to the
physically
people in the
going. They're
church.
not physically going to every nation and physically saying, "Hey, here's the gospel."
Oh, so just staying at home means preaching to all the world. Is that what that means? Fucking retard. Cannot admit that he's wrong. Man.
Right. But you just
This
said they
was
were
not
preaching to
what
all the
happened. This
nations.
was not happened by the disciples. The disciples attempted to go with it as far as they could, but they
I'm just telling you
all
what the Bible says.
died. Where did they all die?
I don't believe they all did die because I believe Jesus came
Yeah,
back before that.
where did they all die?
I don't, like I said, I don't believe they all died because Jesus said some of them wouldn't die, until they saw him coming in his kingdom.
See, Flatzoid's arguing that Santa's real, and this other guy's arguing that Santa comes on Easter.
No, that was the resurrection. That's what you're going to read. Yeah, they all saw Jesus go into his kingdom. I agree. They all saw Jesus go into his kingdom because that was the resurrection. When Jesus was alive,
You said they saw him
speaking to
go
them-
into, because you just
Into,
said
yeah.
you'll see me coming in my kingdom, not going to my kingdom. So they saw him go into his kingdom.
coming into his kingdom. Yes,
Yeah, but you
he's
just
coming
said
into
going
his kingdom.
in.
Well, sorry, that was a missed word. It's coming into his kingdom. In other words,
Yeah.
he's going or coming into his kingdom, not coming down.
Bill Burr had the best fucking response to bullshit like this. You don't know. How do you know? You don't know.
From his kingdom. He's going
Well,
into his
because
coming
he
into his
also
kingdom.
is
This
the
is the
king.
language.
Well, and that's an issue with the kingdom, because Jesus also says the kingdom is here within you,
Yes, he's got
right?
a kingdom where
So
nothing story because it's a
so
spiritual kingdom.
when you
That's
apply,
where the Holy Spirit is in us.
that's why you have to apply all the other verses of Jesus telling people, you're going to see me coming, either in the
But you have to
clouds, in
understand.
the heaven. You're going to see the angels ascending and descending on me, right? Because
But
that's what Revelation says is going to happen when he comes. The angels will be coming with him, and he's going to give his reward.
that's what it says when the angels come down and go up, ascend. The
Yeah.
angels come to fetch Jesus and they bring him into his kingdom.
When he was,
When he was resurrected.
where does it say the angels came to get him?
We're going to get there later. Let's just finish up quickly because otherwise it's going to take all night. Okay.
I'm fine with
So-
all night. I'm all night. I can't do all night.
I can't,
I gotta
unfortunately.
take my
I
kids
got
back.
work. Okay.
I'm open for this talk anytime. I got the next week off from vacation, so
I'm enjoying this, man. Okay. Here we go.
I think, you know what? I think this is proof that we could actually have a conversation and not be like fighting, because everyone's like, "Oh, it's
Exactly.
going to be bad." Like, no, it's not. We're just talking.
Exactly. Okay. So this is where it gets. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation. What is the abomination of desolation?
That's the destruction of the temple.
No.
Yes, it's
No.
the abomination that leaves
Abomination of
desolation.
desolation is
in
not.
Daniel, it's described as the abomination that leaves desolation.
Abomination of desolation is not the destruction of the temple. Abomination of desolation
It's what happens in the temple.
is the desolation of, well, of the Antichrist declaring himself as God in the temple.
Do you have the verse from Daniel that talks about the
we'll bring
abomination?
that up.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it says the abomination that leaves desolation, and then it's kind of just referred to as the abomination of desolation. Which, if you listen to what Josephus wrote about the destruction of the temple, what happened there, he even says that there were false prophets telling people to run to the temple because God would save them, and then the Roman Empire, while they were still alive in the temple, they sacrificed pigs in the altar, which was an abomination. And then the desolation is what happened to the temple, being destroyed to nothing.
There we go. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
You know that's
And
talking
for-
about Jesus, right?
No, this is about the Antichrist standing in the temple.
It's not. Okay, so
Yes.
because let me explain, because I know I've heard that before. Let me explain.
And this is
not.
this is why. Wait. I'm so happy you brought that up. And this is
Okay, go
why
ahead.
I say Satan short seasonists, unfortunately, are very dangerous, prone to accept the Antichrist when he is going to declare himself as Christ in the temple as God. You guys are going to accept him as God because you already believe the Antichrist is locked up.
But we also
you
don't
guys
believe in the
now
third
think
temple.
it's Jesus, like you said, you thought this is Jesus.
No, it is. I'm going to show you how. Because the week is 7 years in Daniel's prophecy, correct?
The 7 years of tribulation.
Well, no, just in general, each week in Daniel's prophecy is 7 years.
7 year of tribulation. That's the 7 year.
I know,
How the
but I'm saying
tribulation works? Wait, how the tribulation
Jesus.
works?
Who's the one
Three and
that
a half
stopped
years.
sacrifices?
3.5 years.
In the end of the week, which would be 30 AD or 33 AD when Jesus was killed, he was the one that stops all sacrifices.
Man, this is dangerous, man. You guys are literally saying the Antichrist in tribulation is Jesus.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yes, that's exactly
You're saying that the one who confirms the covenant with many for 1 week is the Antichrist. Because it says right here, in the midst of
that.
the
1
week,
week is the 7 year
7 years,
tribulation.
that's 3 years, right? That's Jesus dying 3 years
How it
into his ministry.
how it works with the tribulation is he's going to declare himself as God. The tribulation starts. So 3.5 years, he's going to be considered, you can say, the good guy. Then he's going to make the sacrifices desolate in the temple for the next 3.5 years. You understand? This is the 7 year period. That's why you have pre-trib, mid-trib, and post-trib belief systems on the rapture because of this week of Daniel spoken of.
Yeah, there's no pre-trib rapture though. So.
But you
But no,
understand that's
if
why the people
if
have
you
those
read,
beliefs. But I'm saying that's why the people have those beliefs in rapture,
yeah,
because specifically of this week of tribulation spoken of Daniel by Daniel about the Antichrist because this has to be. Look, in the midst of the week shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even
right.
until
So
the consummation that he determines shall be poured upon the desolate.
right. So the context is talking about
I think I have this wrong.
926 is talking about the Messiah, Jesus. After 62 shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince shall come, or that shall come, shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be the flood, and unto the end of the war desolations
No,
are determined.
I'm right. It does talk about the. I'm correct. It talks about the Antichrist. It says,
Just
the future
Googling it doesn't
ruler,
make it right.
often interpreted as the Antichrist, will make a firm covenant for many with a period of 7 years, 1 week.
Yeah,
In the
you're
middle
reading
of the week,
are
he
you
will
are you
break.
reading a Jewish dispensation?
Said it again. You may have a a PhD in Hebrew studies. You may be able to speak fluent Aramaic and Greek and Latin and Hebrew, but Flatzoid has a concordance.
Sensationalist scientist
Wait. He will
website.
break. In the middle of the week, he will break this covenant and cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease, leading to the time of desolation.
Jesus is the one that
So I
stops
did have that
sacrifice.
right. No, that's
Because
the Antichrist.
no, Jesus is the final sacrifice, correct?
Jesus already has been sacrificed.
Exactly. He was the final sacrifice, correct?
He's not going to be in the temple.
I know. That's what I'm not asking. I'm not saying
This
that.
is in
I'm
the third
saying
temple. This is going
is
to happen in the
Jesus
third temple.
is Jesus the final sacrifice?
He was the final sacrifice, yes.
So why does there need to be another sacrifice?
Because the Jews believe the Messiah hasn't come yet. Hence why they want the temple to be built so the Antichrist can come as their Messiah. They believe the
So why
Antichrist is
haven't
going to be the Messiah
haven't they been sacrificing for 2,000 years?
because they need the temple.
Why
That's
haven't they
why
built the temple?
they're trying to.
They've
There's
tried
no
4
peace yet.
times.
There's no
They've
peace yet.
tried.
They first need
There's
peace, and this is what the Antichrist is going to do. He's going to create peace to build the temple, so they are able to have their sacrifices in the temple already. That's why you have that faction of Jews which already have the red heifers. They already have all the ornaments and ordained. They're busy training Levite priests literally today.
See, this is why all the Trump supporters, all the Trump tards, the MAGA fuckheads, really wanted, really up on Trump moving the embassy, the Jewish embassy from or the Israel embassy from Gaza to Israel, because they think that's the temple, and that's been moved back to Israel.
For the temple practices.
Buddy, yeah, that's just Jesuit
No, it's
Jewish
not Jesuit doctrine.
God
That's
dispensationalism.
damn it!
scriptural. That's what. But this is exactly why I'm saying to you guys. You read this and you think it's Jesus. So
Yes,
when
he's the one that stops the
Antichrist declares
sacrifices.
himself, so when the Antichrist comes and declares himself as God, you're going to think he's Jesus,
We don't even believe in the third temple. Why would we think that anybody that goes into a third
because the
temple
third
is going to
temple
be
is
Jesus?
going to be built, whether you like it or not.
That is not a good first layer. No squish. So I got to start it over. Sorry, guys. It's going to take 7 hours as it is. I can't delay it.
And
That's what they.
when
Yeah, it's called a self-fulfilling prophecy.
no, it's
But they've
literally
tried
in
4 times.
scripture.
You know
Yeah,
that they've tried four
look.
times. God does not want there to be a third temple because He knows
Look,
it's fake.
abomination of desolation.
The last time was Julian the apostate, and there was fireballs that came from the ground and burned workers and killed them. And they were
Okay.
said, nope. You know why Julian the apostate wanted to build the temple? So he could throw off the prophecy from the Bible. And God said,
Okay.
no.
But look at this, okay?
There's been 4
So
attempts.
we just read about
to
the
build
abomination of
a third
desolation.
temple.
Okay, that's going to happen when the temple is built, spoken by Daniel. It says, Jesus says, standing in the holy place. Okay, that's the temple, you would agree.
Yeah.
So, where was the abomination of desolation in the second temple?
During the 70 AD.
Where? What happened?
I told you they were sacrificing pigs on the altar. They were killing women and children, lighting them on fire.
That's not what we just read in Daniel 7.
Huh?
Daniel 9. That's not what you just read in Daniel 9.
No, you're
the
asking what
abomination of
happened.
desolation
You're asking what happened in 70 AD.
No. I'm asking you, the abomination of desolation by Daniel 9 is specific to the Antichrist declaring himself as God and breaking the covenant. Okay? Half year through the through the week. Now I'm asking you, because he was standing in the holy place that had to be the temple, and because you're claiming it was in the second temple, when was the abomination of desolation in the second temple?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. In 70 AD, the abomination was that they were sacrificing pigs for Rome, and they
That's
were
not the
killing. They
abomination of
killed.
desolation.
How do you know?
Because Daniel 9 was very specific to what was happening in the temple for the abomination of desolation. It wasn't about sacrificing pigs on the altar.
It was about an abomination, which was
Let's read it again.
That was an abomination to the Jews to sacrifice.
Yeah, and wearing mixed fibers is an abomination. Men wearing women's clothing and women wearing men's clothing is an abomination. Eating shellfish is an abomination. I wonder how closely Flatzoid follows that.
Let's read again. Let's read again
Just
what the
wonder.
abomination is.
Just wonder.
And he shall conform with the covenant for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, that's halfway, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
Okay.
So he stopped. No more sacrifices.
So that's what you think the abomination is?
And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. What does desolate mean?
It means he's going to destroy it.
And the consummation
Which
and
is
the
what happened
shall
with the
be
second
poured
temple.
upon the desolate. That's got nothing to do with pigs being sacrificed on the altar in the temple.
Wow, I'm actually learning something new here, guys, because I was actually under the impression that they were sacrificing unclean animals, which would have been things like pigs.
They were. I mean, that's
They
what
were
pigs
sacrificing it, but they misconstruing the abomination of desolation that is the Antichrist himself in the temple as the pigs being sacrificed in Daniel 9.
Well, not only that, like I said, they were killing women and children in the temple and burning them
Yes,
alive.
but sacrificing, yes, but that was, what can I say? That wasn't what is described in Daniel 9.
That doesn't say that. It doesn't say exactly what. It just says the abomination that leaves desolation.
Yeah,
Which is
wow,
the
man.
abomination.
No, I'm learning something here, guys. I'm gonna mute back out.
No stress, man. But like you said, it says the abomination of desolation is spoken of by Daniel the prophet. So that's why you have to go to Daniel to see what the abomination of desolation is. And the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel is not about the pigs being sacrificed and the women and children. It's about the Antichrist.
You know, it's also cool. You know, what's another point about Daniel? Daniel 12:4, he's told to seal up his book until the times of the end. And Jesus is saying right here in Matthew, he's proving that the book was open for them because that was the generation of the end times. Daniel 12:4, if you want to read that one. Seal up the words of this book to the times of the end. And then Jesus right here says, when ye see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, So he's telling them, when you guys see the abomination that you guys have read in Daniel, which was sealed up till the times of the end, then you're going to know, let whosoever readeth, let him understand. Run, flee to the mountains in Judea. 12:4.
Okay, so let's go back to Daniel 9. Let's read the whole thing in context then. This is about the whole thing. 70 weeks are determined upon the people and upon the holy city, and to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Now, this is about the Jews needing the temple to be able to have this atonement happening, okay?
Right. That's when the first temple has been destroyed. There hasn't even been a second temple built.
This is about the temple they need for that to happen. Know therefore,
Yeah, this is before the second temple was built.
and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troubled times. Okay? And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and for the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city.
62 weeks? Wouldn't that be 80? What is a score? What is a score? What is a score? What is a score? Motherfucker. Okay, 20. The score is 20. All right, never mind.
City and the sanctuary. That's the destruction of the temple. Correct?
Yeah, it's talking about
That's
Jesus.
the destruction of the temple. And what is that? That's in halfway, correct? After
2 weeks. Okay.
And the end thereof shall be for food, for at the flood, and unto the end of the war
Fortnite.
of desolation.
Yeah, I was thinking of a Fortnite. Thank you.
Are determined. What war of desolation?
Yeah, that's the Jewish-Roman War, which happened 66 to 70, roughly 73 AD, I believe.
Okay.
During the
Second
Second
Temple. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week,
looks all right.
He shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation. And the determination shall be poured out, determined shall be poured out upon the desolate.
So this is why we believe that he's talking about Jesus, right? So halfway through the week, Jesus is killed because it was talking about the Messiah in verse 26. He's the one that causes the sacrifices to cease, right? And what happens when he's sacrificed, when he dies? The veil in the veil in the temple gets ripped in two.
The second temple got destroyed,
right? No, not when Jesus was.
Okay, yeah, no, then it was just the veil.
Just the veil. The veil was destroyed, right? He's the one that causes the sacrifices to stop.
Yes.
Because they're saying that the abominations is the sacrifices themselves. There is no more sacrifice.
Yes, no, I agree with that. The veil was torn in two after Jesus got crucified.
All right, and so he's the one ceasing the sacrifice. And he's the one making the sacrifices. Again, to God, sacrifices were pretty much an abomination.
Even David talks about sacrifices until the destruction of the temple.
Right. Yeah, Jesus stopped the sacrifices until the desolation of the temple.
Until the destruction of the temple. That's 26. Now 27 comes. Now there's a temple.
Yeah. Until the destruction of the temple.
The temple was already destroyed.
Which is the
in 26.
No. No, not when Jesus was sacrificed, or not when he was crucified.
Yeah, it says there. But for himself, for the people and prince shall come, shall destroy this city and the sanctuary.
It's saying, and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined, right? And the war is the Jewish-Roman War in 66 and
That was
73
70
AD.
AD when the temple was destroyed. I agree. But
Yeah.
then it says, and he
So it's
shall
talking about,
confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
yeah,
That's the tribulation.
yeah, seven. That's
That's the
7 years.
tribulation.
No, that's the
7-year
7
tribulation.
years. Because halfway through the 7 years is when Jesus was killed.
That's the 7-year tribulation for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, that's the middle. That's the halfway point. He shall cause the sacrifice in and the oblation to cease. Because remember, the third temple is going to be built now. So halfway after the third temple is built, the Antichrist is going to go and declare war. He's going to break his covenant. Remember, they're going
So the temple's not.
the
So,
Jews.
so the temple's not even
Remember,
going to
the
get built.
Jews are going to now, once the temple's built again, the Jews are going to be doing sacrifices in the temple for what it says 3.5 years, because the Antichrist is going to be the Messiah, according to the Jews. So once the halfway mark comes of 7 years, the 3.5, he's going to then break that covenant, and he's going to stop the sacrifices. Do you understand? Because that's when he declares himself. He's declared himself as God in the temple.
It doesn't say he breaks
It
the
does say.
covenant. It says he confirms the
It does say he
covenant,
breaks the covenant.
and he shall
He shall cause
Where?
the sacrifice and oblation to cease. So he shall confirm
the sacrifice and
covenant.
oblation to
Exactly.
cease, which is Jesus. Yes, Jesus came to confirm the covenant.
What is the
with many.
covenant with the Jews? That they should.
The covenant to
Their
Isaac.
covenant with the Jews is so they are able to atone for their sins using the
Actually, Fortnite is dumb and boring.
temple for sacrifice.
Rather play PUBG.
So what he's going to do is halfway in the midst of the week, he's going to cause those sacrifices to stop. So therefore, he's broken that covenant. Do you understand?
See, I believe the covenant to the Jews was that Jesus was the sacrifice to atone for
That's
their
the
sins.
problem. The Jews didn't accept the Messiah Jesus. That's why they're going to accept the Antichrist.
And
that's why they still need the temple for atonement of sins.
Yeah, that's why they need the temple,
for
but
the Jews.
Christians don't need the temple.
The temple itself is for the Jews. You do know that.
Yeah, and we're not Jews.
No.
Technically, we are Jews.
Yeah.
Technically, there are no more Jews. First off, actually, that's the other issue with.
Well, I mean, that's technically
Rothschilds.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Term Israel.
Rothschild Jews.
The term Israel
yeah.
actually just meant God's chosen people, and it said that you could be grafted in.
Yeah.
And so, like, even it.
Yeah,
being a nation,
anybody that's
like, it's whole misconception. And I think
there
that's,
is no
I think
Israel
that's,
either.
I think that's what leads people down these paths of misinterpretation. Is them claiming that they have a right.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem because the Bible says there are no more Jews nor Greek. If you're in Christ Jesus, you're the son of, or you're the seed of Abraham and heir to the promise. That means if you're a Christian, you're saved by Jesus, you're heir to the promise of the Jews, the Israelites. That's one of the reasons why Little Caesar, we don't believe that this country of Israel is Israel. Because the Bible tells you, if you're in Christ, you're the seed of Abraham, you're heir to the promise.
Can I ask you a question? The nation of Israel, when it was reformed in 48,
Yep, these anti-Semitic fucks.
where is that in biblical prophecy?
That's what I want to know.
Let me get it quickly for you.
And I also want to know where's Rothschild's name, because Cyrus was named 200 years before when Israel was made the nation then, right? And I'm like, if this is supposed to be at Israel, then there should be a prophecy of that. But like I said, there is no more Jews, no more Greek.
No, and that's where I would agree with you here. I mean, I'm still not.
Okay, there still is a nation of Israel, though.
Okay, Deuteronomy
now.
30, this is the restoration promise. This is about the Jews coming back to Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass,
Yeah, which happened
it
in
shall come to pass when
under
these things
Cyrus.
are come upon thee, the beginning of the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them the mind among the nations, whither the Lord thy God has driven thee. And shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according that I command thee this day, thou thy children with thine heart and with thy soul. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. This is what happened when Israel became a nation in 1941. All the Jews started
Definitely.
coming from all over.
So
Israel.
that's when that's them coming out of
Yeah,
Babylon,
well,
correct?
I don't necessarily agree with that because I mean the thing is, like, where is the largest world gay pride parade?
In your mom's box.
America.
Israel.
No, Israel.
Israel, dude.
Who owns
Israel,
who,
buddy.
who owns
Yeah.
Pornhub?
So I mean,
Well, but the thing is, the
I
Jews.
don't think those
You
people,
do
I
know
don't
that.
think those people that are there that are claiming to be that are those chosen people.
Look, not all the people
No,
living,
I
not
mean,
all the people living in Israel are Jews.
Yeah, but they claim like most
well,
of them
anybody that
claim
claims
to
to
be,
be
and
a
most of
Jew.
them claim to believe in a God that they don't believe in, or they believe they're God's chosen people, but they don't even believe in God.
Remember, they didn't accept the Messiah. They didn't accept Jesus as the Messiah. So that's what I'm saying. They're going to accept the Antichrist as the Messiah. And in Deuteronomy 30, it was specifically telling that they are coming back because they were scattered after the desolation. So now they all come back because they
Yeah,
have
that
become.
happened.
The largest pride parade in the world is held annually in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The parade, known as the Parada Gay Sao Paulo, typically attracts between 3 and 5 million participants. It is considered a massive celebration, second only to Carnival in terms of popularity in the city. So, top 10 pride events around the city. New York, Sao Paulo, Sydney, Taipei, Amsterdam, Toronto, Copenhagen, Madrid, Iceland, New Zealand. Israel isn't even on the fucking list, man. So more anti-Semitic bullshit to demonize Jewish people. Excellent.
Happens.
A nation again. So yes, all over the
Yeah,
world
that
they have
happens
been
in
coming.
Israel. No, it happens
That's
in
Israel,
Ezra.
yes. I just want to say, Mr. Jingles,
No, Ezra.
thank you for your fight.
Ezra 5 is when Cyrus, the king of Babylon, has Israel become a nation
I just want
again.
to say thank you, Mr.
That's the
Jingles.
prophecy.
£5. He says sorry to stop the show, but two things: hit the likes and don't get gravity get you down. Thank you very much for the super chat, Mr. Jingles. Really, really appreciate it. You're awesome. But yeah,
All right,
the
good.
thing is, Israel was never a nation until 1941 again, since the scattering.
No, that's not
Where
true.
were they a nation as well?
Aside, when Cyrus, I think it's 521 BC, when Cyrus, king of
Before
Babylon,
Christ.
gives Isaiah even
Wait.
prophesies
That
200
was before
years.
Christ. This prophecy was after
Yeah,
Jesus, wasn't it?
you
Oh,
brought up Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy's Old Testament. But no, but where I don't understand because so you're saying they went back before the temple destruction.
Yeah,
Why
before the
did they
temple
get
was even
scattered
built.
before the temple destruction then?
What do you mean?
Because when you read in
Back in
Matthew,
before 70 AD?
it's talking about the scattering after the it's talking about them returning after the destruction of the temple.
Where in
They
Matthew?
all getting scattered because of the Antichrist.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, because they're getting persecuted, right? And he's telling them to flee.
Into the
He
mountains of
tells them flee
Judea.
to all the.
So
Yeah,
Judean
they don't come
mountains,
back after
which
that.
you guys said is not there anyway, but yeah.
Well, I don't think I didn't say that. So I don't know if you're
But
arguing
anyway,
against
guys, I
another.
gotta
If you're
go.
arguing
Sorry,
against
man.
another little
Miles, I
season.
think it was a great discussion. I definitely want to have a discussion with you again.
Yep.
But
Love it.
it's awesome, brother. I do appreciate you coming on, and I think we had a good discussion. It was fruitful.
Yes,
Definitely.
sir.
Yeah, great job, you guys not getting like too heated or anything.
And I think this is how it should
It was
be.
a very good conversation. Yeah,
Hmm.
very good conversation.
Definitely. Sorry, I got to go. You guys can carry on talking if you want to, but I'm going to have to let go. And appreciate everybody in the YouTube lands as well. Thank you for coming. Many blessings. Hopefully, I'm live tomorrow. I'm not sure. I will let you know.
God damn it, what a dumb fuck. Anyway, that's all we have for today for Fkatzoid. What an absolute fuckwit. Doesn't know anything, can't admit when he's wrong, and he's wrong all the fucking time. Very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. Yeah. Yep. Heard it so many times I could dance to it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later.